Hello. So sustainability in our homes, and we'll notice that a lot of the things that I talk about will kind of overlap. Sustainability tends to overlap, and I've really enjoyed a lot of the presentations and just the threads that are very similar throughout the presentations. So I'm Leah Samson-Samuel. I'm president of Madison Environmental Group. Sustainability is my passion. It's been my passion since high school, and I loved it so much that I bought the business, so I get to do what I want all day long and talk about sustainability. And what we do is we do green building consulting and sustainability planning in our community. One of the programs that we have is called Enact. And it's a free community program that's all about sustainable living. And in talking about, I gotta make this shorter. See, I'm a hand talker, and so I need to be able to talk with my hands. But so with the Enact program, we have a book, and we have about 1,000 different tips. And when they asked me to come and talk about shelter and our homes, I could come and I could list a whole bunch of different things that we can all do. And then I thought, well, you know what? Let's tell stories. So. In our home, that's kind of where we have the most control. That's where we get to make decisions, you know, from light bulbs to turning off water. And as you can see, one way to measure it is, you know, when you've seen one similar, this is another overlap. If you look at just our carbon footprint as one measure, our home has about a quarter of an impact, and that's just electricity, natural gas, and water. And so I'm going to tell some stories of families that actually we challenged them to do. You have the average of how much water, energy, and waste we produce in Wisconsin, and we challenged them to do 40% less than that. And so I'm just going to tell you about those families. The first one, they were already rock stars on natural gas. They were already using like 70% less. And then we challenged them to do more. And so they did some just really simple things. They obviously were already doing things around natural gas, like having it turned down, the hot water heater turned down. And this you can do in an apartment, maybe. You might have access or not, but you can do it at your home if you own it. And so they were able to reduce it more so that they were only using a quarter of natural gas of what an average Madison resident would use. And they did that by drying their clothes. So 3 months out of the year they had no natural gas usage by just drying their clothes outside. Simple solution. Also, they were a little extreme. They turned their heat down to 60 degrees. A little chilly, but they were really dedicated to reducing that usage of natural gas. Now, I don't have my thermostat set to 60 because that would be a little chilly and my kids would not be very happy. So it's finding those happy mediums of what will work, but you can reduce it and find a place that is comfortable. The next family, the Marquis Mayaz family, has 3 people in it, and they focus, this story is about water. So they were already, again, rock stars in reducing water, but they were able to continue to reduce their water in 1 year by 9,000 gallons. And they did that by being creative. They did not have a low-flow toilet at the time, but they still were very creative. It was always kind of a funny joke at meetings that they used their bucket. So that cold water that you turn on as you wait for the hot water to flow through your pipes, you collect that, and you use it to flush toilets, water your plants, lots of interesting things. And they did win the prize at the end of they got a low-flow toilet. That actually is my toilet at my office, and it's a magic dual flush. I love it. It's always good to have a picture of a toilet, saves water. Next family is the Swanson-Nesler family, and they had 2 teenage boys and a mom and dad, and they focused on waste, and they gave themselves a really big challenge. And so what it was basically is not buying anything new for a year. And I mean, that's limited to, obviously, underwear and socks. Those are good things to have new. Personal care products, things like that. But all the other stuff, they were creative. Borrowing, like the library, buying things from thrift stores. And they were able to reduce their trash to 1.6 pounds a week, which the average, they estimated for EPA is 4.6 pounds per day. So they were very creative. They also already had composting as part of their family routine. And that, again, helped. So that stream wasn't going into the landfill. It was actually going somewhere else where they could use to, grow food. Mooney Gaines family, they had a teenage daughter, and they also owned their own home, so they could do some creative things. And when they looked around at their house for ways to save electricity, they used a watt meter, and what they found was the lovely freezer in the basement was an energy hog. And so they got rid of it, and wow, they could, that was one of the steps that helped them really reduce their electricity consumption by 3,000 kilowatt hours, which average Madison family uses about 7,200 kilowatt hours a year, so that was a big reduction. Another one is doing those simple measures of changing your light bulbs. They may not seem like they make a big difference, but they actually do. Lighting does make a big difference in your house in terms of when you change from the incandescent to a fluorescent. And really, when you look at what these families did, they were really mindful about what they were doing. They walked around and looked at what could I do? And really what the mindfulness is, there was another presentation earlier, but it's pausing. So before you buy that thing or before you take that action, pause. Think about that decision you're making. Another theme that is really important is that community we build. This community that we build where sustainable practices are the norm will change and move our culture, but we have to create those actual norms and expectations of our culture and create that community. Thank you, and have a great day.